Hey guys, and welcome to the DMOS Foot Reviews 132 subscriber special. And this is Audi R8 versus MP4-12c, which is better. So we've got the two United Autosports cars here. We've got the detailed Audi and we have the detailed McLaren MP4. So the Audi was out first, and the Audi's been out for a fair few years. I think it was late 2009 the first one came out. So that's nearly 5 years, sorry. And we've got the McLaren MP4, which was meant to be released very late 2012 and has just come out. So this is quite a young car in comparison. So we've got to look at several factors like damage, how easy are they to spray, and installing chips and how they drive on the track. So let's have a look at damage first. So this is my United Autosport one. I've never used this before actually, so there's no damage on it yet, and this is the first time out of the box, apart from when I reviewed it a few months ago. So if we just look, things that you can easily damage on this are the front grille. Now this is notorious for coming out. You barely get through a digital race without knocking that in, and the rear spoiler, if you drop the car on it like that, I've done that a couple of times, it could break, but I haven't actually managed to break one by flipping a car yet, so that's pretty good. Even the exhaust, they have enough hits on them, they will come out, and the wind mirrors as well. I guess every wind mirror can break, but these are made out of like a rubbery plastic, so you might get away with them not snapping, but just falling out. You can buy spares for this, which is a good thing as well, so you can always replace your damaged wind mirrors. Now, installing a digital chip, now they say it's under 60 seconds, which is kind of true, but it's not under 60 seconds when you get a brand new car. So, obviously you undo it, and it's so tight and hard to get out. And I found the Audis are pretty easy because you get a lot of room to play with. As you pull it out, you don't worry about ripping the whole thing apart as you're trying to put the chip in. So the Audi is pretty good in that respect. Spray painting it is kind of hard. It's got its difficulties, but you can buy the Pro Performance kit, which is just a plain white car. The only problem is these bits are actually plain white and they don't come out, so you have to spray them individually, but I just sort of cheated and just sprayed the whole car black and then just left the whole front of it black. You can look at it, it's the Model Zone Audi R8 Pro Performance Kit custom paint job. You will find it, it's in the custom paint job playlist that I made. So again, and also this area as well needs spraying black. That's if you want the car to be the right colours. So yeah, that's quite hard. You have to take all the internal bits out. Again, not too tricky. Putting them back in sometimes can be a pain though. The grille comes out, that comes out, the wind comes off. It's got this little bit of plasticky latex on it, which is hard to take out. So that will be again, it's a little bit of difficulty trying to get them out without breaking them, but again, I haven't actually managed to break a car while taking it apart to spray paint it. And I've sprayed quite a few Audis, so, and the other video, is just this video to this, which will be the super resistance cars versus one another. That's a spray painted one as well, so you'll get to see a spray painted one later. So we move on to the McLaren. Now, damage on this car. Only few things that I can see that could easily be damaged are the antenna, rear spoiler, and the wind mirrors, which this came off when me and my brother I got this, and my brother got a Morris Bunny police car, which is an epic little car by the way, definitely worth getting. Check out the review of that as well. And in a crossover incident, the police car took out my wind mirror and the whole car basically. So yeah, that's the only thing I can find that would break. Now that there, it's just a little slot, and it's sort of held together by the glass of the canopy here. So again, the wheel mirror looks like it was meant to. It came out cleanly, it just sort of popped out, and it easily slits back in if you just wiggle it enough. There you go, straight in there like that. It's quite good when that happens. Spray painting it. I've only spray painted the road car version because again I've only just got this and I want to keep at least one of them like how Scalextric's made it. And I've had a look over this car, and the only places that I could find that would probably be a pain to spray are these bits, which you may have seen the super resistant review. They come loose, but on this side it's not loose. So they could also be easily to damage places on the car. So back to spray painting. I've noticed, luckily, all this black part is not moulded in. So when you take it off, that just goes. That, however, is moulded and that's painted on. So maybe it'll be hard to do a white car, in my opinion, or any different colours of black around the front. But you can always just sort of cheat and have a whole black section there. It depends on how good you are at spray painting and how much time you're willing to spend taping this car up. This part here comes out, or has the option to come out like on the road car, and these bits I believe will pop out as well. That, however, this black part here, I'm pretty sure that can come out because on the road car version it can, so that's another good bit. And obviously all the canopy and the glass and the interior will all come out as well. So yeah, again, this car will probably be an okay car to spray paint if you want to spray paint and customise them yourself. I will definitely be doing one in the foreseeable future, so just check it out. Now we just got to look. I've noticed that they've got the same wheelbase. If I show you underneath, they've got the same wheelbase, so that's quite interesting. The Audi has a magnet further forward, whereas the McLaren has it right under the rear wheels, and that will be interesting in the test in performance against one another. So if I just, camera doesn't like focusing. There we go. So yep, next part of the test is actually the driving part. Also, just forgot to mention that the chip, when I was trying to install one on the McLaren, there was not a great deal of room, and it was quite nerve-wracking. I thought I was going to pull the whole car apart and damage like the guide blade system and the pickup where the electric goes into the car and makes it move. So yeah, there was a little bit of an issue there, but then again I did manage to get one in, and I went through all that trouble and I didn't actually get a chance to race it in the digital format. So again, I haven't tested this in digital, so I can't tell you what it's like in digital, but I can tell you that it was definitely a bit tight and a bit hard to get the chip in to start with, but I guess when I install it a second time it will go in quite nicely. This is the Audi R8 Radius 1 contest, and we're just going to drive the Audi around a few laps and just get a feel of how it feels and see how it does in the corners. Now, when I was driving this, I thought it was quite sluggish, and this is the first time I used this Audi, and it just felt a bit heavier and it felt a bit slow to start with, but once it warmed up a bit, it got going, and it just had no problem to go through the Radius 1 corners. I mean, I did push it a little bit too hard, but that's what happens when you do push a car, you crash. So this car has been going very well around the corners. It kicks out a little bit if you accelerate too long, and even if you accelerate, if you fishtail out enough, you can actually get stuck. So that's maybe just a little problem with the Audi, but not a massive one, and it's easy to rectify really. Now the Audi is a very good car, and it's been one of the best cars for a couple of years now, and it just handles so well. And this is without sanded tyres as well, so this car is definitely showing that it can handle and how well it can drive. I personally am quite chuffed with it. So this is the McLaren MP4, and this is the Radius 1 corners, and this one was a lot faster, but it just didn't seem to handle as well as, say, the super resistant one. Now I've just been saying that it didn't handle quite as well as the Audi R8 detailed, because the Audi R8 seemed a bit heavier, so that played into its advantage a bit, which was good, and I thought it the McLaren was just a bit too sensitive. Maybe it was a bit like you pulled the trigger and it would respond very well. So whereas the Audi you had to hold it down, whereas the McLaren was more of a pumping sort of car where you'd have to be on and off it. But it did slide very well, and I like a car that can glide across the track. And the only problem with the McLaren I could see was just how low it is. This is the radius 2 corner for the Audi, so we're just watching the Audi go around, and it had barely any problems going through the radius 1 corners, so it didn't have very many problems going through these corners at all. And there's a crossover, so on one lane it tightens and the other lane it doesn't tighten at all, so there's a difference which is quite good with the crossover. So as I'm going over both, I'm testing the car on both types of the corners on the crossover. So the Audi just, again, it went through it and no problems, it was quick, it was fast, it was it didn't fishtail at all, it had good handling and control, and it was just generally a good car. And compared to, say, other cars like Aston Martin, you didn't have to fight the car to get it around the corner, it just went round the corner like a normal car would. Moving on to the McLaren now. We've got the McLaren here, and again, it just, a bit like the Audi, you didn't have to fight it going into the corner, which was good. And the only problem was, like I said, it's a bit low, so bumps do knock it out. And yeah, that's why you have to have a flat track, and you have to make sure that there's no bumps on the floor. Now this isn't actually floorboarding, it's just matte place to look like some flooring, so that's why there are still bumps on the track. And that is really the car with the magnet so far back also plays in where all the power is, where the magnetician is, where it's going to stick. So you've got all the power being pushed where the magnet is, so you've got such a good grip with the car that you can literally throw it around these corners without it falling off. It's just the bumps that kept taking me out. Now it just went through these corners with great ease, and there wasn't any fishtailing, there wasn't any fight in it, and it was just easy, and it was a good fun car to drive. So after considering all of that, I think that they're quite equally matched, and unfortunately, because for the Audi it's nearing the end of its course, the McLaren will replace it. I'm just going to say though that the Audi has always been a very good car. It's consistently been brilliant, and I've got so many of them, and none of them are absolutely fantastic, and then some of them are rubbish. They're all very consistent, so I think it's a very good car. As well as the McLaren MP4, that is a very fantastic looking car. It handles well, it's fast, it's quick, and it's one of the best of the newest cars available, and it beats the Corvette and the Camaro hands down. Now we've got two other cars, the Lotus Evora and Maserati, coming out, so it'll be interesting how it sees how well it does against those two. And also the Lamborghini Aventador road car version, it'll be interesting to see how well it does against that as well. So thanks for watching, please rate, comment and subscribe. Please tell me what you think at the bottom, which car you prefer, and again, thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing, and again, just keep watching and look out for all the other videos, and look out for the other 132 subscriber special, which is the super resistant version.